Welcome, sir, to our Thoughts initiative of Thoughts and Education by Collegedunia.com. And we are very happy to host Mr. Padmakumar Nair, the director of Thapar School of Management, for our this session. And sir has a very good experience starting his career with IBM Consulting, I guess, and he has, which is now PwC Consulting. So, and after moving forward to like professional domain, he has taught over a lot of universities. I have seen sir has worked in Tokyo University, University of Dallas, and now sir is holding the position of director of Thapar School of Management. And I'm handing it over to you, sir. I will like to know an overview of your profile, and would like to you to introduce yourself. Yeah.
Thank you, Akash. How do I introduce myself? I am this month. I turned 59.
Okay.
Originally, I'm trained as an engineer.
Mm-hmm.
My first PhD is in the area of nanostructured materials. That's from a technical university in the Netherlands, University of Twente. Today, my passion is understanding the relationship between beliefs and behaviors. One would wonder why this is important. Belief-behavior connection. Whether it is being a manager or a leader or a politician or a civil servant or a responsible citizen, our behaviors are always influenced by what we believe. Beliefs are typically not knowledge. True tested belief is knowledge. Untested beliefs are just beliefs, but they influence your behavior. So that's my passion today. I have worked in 7 different countries, and I've lectured in so many different countries at many levels. I've worked as a nanostructured material scientist, a management strategy consultant before taking up this position, heading the business school and heading the second campus. It's a small campus with less than 1,000 students of Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology near Chandigarh. Before doing that, I used to teach at UT Dallas, University of Texas at Dallas. And also, I was one of the founders of the Leadership Center at the University of Texas at Dallas. I worked as an academic director of the center, Leadership Center. So we had done several leadership development and leadership consulting engagements with global corporations. Many of them had serious presence in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in the US. So that's my background. Started as a nanostructured materials engineer. Then to today, I call myself more as a teacher of organizational behavior. My most passionate course I teach for our MBA students is called OML, Organizing, Managing, and Leading. I like verbs rather than nouns. There is some action there.
So, sir, that is good to know, because I see you have held many key positions at the educational institutes throughout your professional career. And moving from you have started your career into private companies, and then you have moved on to educational institutes. So we would like to know more, what are the key factors which made you decide that you want to be part of education sector, and how you enjoy teaching the students and guiding them?
Excellent question. I think I don't think anything extraordinary here, but from very early on, I like this idea of knowing things well, understanding it and clarifying it. Whatever it is, whatever little thing it is, I want to know it better. For example, this current pandemic. Almost every news you read, we read about coronavirus mutating And most of the essays or the news articles talk about new mutants are going to be more dangerous. So that is the news we read all the time. But I want to take this as an example where the type of interest I have about clarifying things. So think about a virus mutating. If the virus becomes really more dangerous, that virus will quickly go out of business. Because it becomes very dangerous means the host will become very sick and will not be able to walk around and spread. But if the virus becomes less dangerous and more contagious, that is where we need to be more careful. This Delta variant is relatively less dangerous, not more contagious. That means the host is not that sick. That means the host can go around and spread more. So the idea is, from very early on, I want to understand things in the best possible way. So the other side of understanding is also a bit of preaching and teaching about it. So for me, there is nothing extraordinary about wanting to become a teacher, wanting to become a researcher. So that idea was a bit of, I don't know whether it is what I heard from my dad. He was an ordinary soldier, but he used to tell me all the time stories of Isaac Newton and the importance of learning and researching that I learned from him. Maybe a bit of predisposition to learning and teaching. That's one aspect of it. And then second aspect is, I did not see that much difference from what I did for PricewaterhouseCoopers Consulting. Later it was IBM, and then moving back to university. Because even as a consultant, what you do is you look at problems, you frame problems, you clarify problems, and think about solutions. In a classroom, you introduce interesting problems, introduce interesting theories to make sense of these problems. You know what good professionals do? They make sense of issues. They sometimes try to predict it, sometimes also solve it. So I see very little difference from my approach and day-to-day activities. It's all about learning and clarifying and thinking and reflecting.
So, sir, you have covered multiple touch points, and which is actually going forward to my next question, which I was actually wanted to ask you. So, sir, how do you define your leadership style your leadership style in this college? So, we'd like to know about your leadership style and your philosophy.
Right. So at least the style, my natural style, I want to call it, at least I want to believe that is more a transformational style. Transformational style is less of reward and punishment, more of trying to work together and learn from my colleagues and work with them, and if possible, inspire and motivate them. So that is the style I have been practicing, especially for the last 7-8 years with my current job. And I can tell you, I cannot claim success. I should say that I'm partially successful, but then I have learned through quite a hard way that transformational style and working together and being a kind of a partner in that process may not always work in our culture. So a good balance between a transformational and a bit of reward and punishment, what I call a transactional style. So my style was more of transformational and less of transactional. Today, I am slowly changing to have a slightly better mix of the transactional style, bit of reward and punishment. So that is how my leadership style itself is getting transformed. I think my style, I must admit that my style initially did not fit with our culture. So what is that fit? Our culture is a very interesting kind of culture. It is a collectivist culture, but it is not a typical collectivist culture like Japan or China. Ours is a micro collectivist culture. That means for us Indians, our close family and friends are very important. For a Japanese, close family and friends and the country and the company and the community, so their collectivism is much more broader. I call it macro collectivism. Indian collectivism is micro. In micro collectivist cultures, your leadership style cannot be that transformational. You also need to be a bit transactional. So that I've learned that in the last 7-8 years. I think I must admit with a pinch of humility that my initial style did not work that well. Today, I'm also I've learned and changed.
So, sir, it was very insightful perspective that you have put forward. Basically, it's running a huge school and college. Is running the administration is a difficult task, and you have to evolve over a period of time, and that's what we do. We try to do at our work and any kind of activity that we are involved in. So we would like to understand what are your key plans and programs that you are planning for the marketing and administration of your college.
All right. So my plans going forward, one of the most important things, it's a bit general, but you can ask me clarifying questions. One of the most important point I'm trying to do, especially in the next 18 months, is to set up processes to capture high quality data. Processes to capture high quality data. Because I personally don't want to be anybody's boss. I want good quality data to be the boss. Because our culture, if you look at it, we are very good, nice group of people. We are very helpful. We are loving. But when it comes to power relationship, people become very egoistic and self-righteous. One side, we are very kind and we are caring and loving. But when it comes to work relationship and hierarchical relationship, we become very self-righteous, transactional, quite difficult to deal with. So I've realized that I don't want to be anybody's boss. Let high quality data speak. So how do you capture high quality data? You need excellent, well-refined processes. How do you make the processes run well? You need to optimize and digitize whenever it is possible. So I have a name for it, what I'm trying to do now. I call Uberizing the university. What is Uberizing? That is capturing, refining, optimizing any process you can find, anything you can find, and then digitize it. So make a process, refine it, optimize it, digitize it, and that is we call Uberizing. And I will not have money, resources, or the emotional space to do everything together. So we follow an approach called Legolizing. That means do it in modules, just like Legos. You do it, then finally you can put it together. So that's kind of my dream for the next 18 months. So futurize, Legolize, Uberize.
So that is very interesting to know, because I can see a glimpse of the vision that you have in your mind for the school and your college. I just want to know, we would like to know more about your vision of the university over a period of time. And we also like to know how this vision has evolved over the past 8 years when you have been involved with the Thapar Institute. So how your vision has evolved 8 years back to now, how it has evolved. So we'd like to know the journey of the change in the vision And we also like to get a glimpse of what are your top priorities for the development of the programs at the college for next 10 years.
All right. First of all, the very first thing I've done 8 years ago when I joined, we have come up with a tagline. You might have noticed the tagline. The tagline is New India starts here. New India starts here. By the way, that was at least 6 months before the new Prime Minister Modi's government came to power. So I'm talking about almost 8 years ago. So the new government came to power about 7.5 years ago, but I'm talking about. So New India starts here. So what is this New India? New India is a proud India. It's a green India. It's a happy India. It's a clean India. It's also an India where our mothers and sisters and daughters can move around freely without getting harassed. So that's the dream of New India. It's also a caring India. It's an empathetic India. So let the idea of empathy, one of the key words today in my life is the idea of empathy. So see, this is very, very interesting. I'll get back to that point. So this new India is also an India where people are constantly seeking excellence. Look at what we do today. What are you doing today? You're trying to ask me questions. But this is really not for you. You feel that this could probably help someone, a student, a potential applicant. So most things in our life are done for others, just like our mothers. Our mothers typically do everything for others. She cleans, she cooks, she teaches us, she would tell us the right values and how to behave and everything for others. Imagine when you're creating something for others, if you are truly empathetic, you do a much better job. So idea of excellence, the mother of excellence is empathy. Empathy is the nucleus of excellence, starting point, because whatever you do, 99.99% of what you do is for others. So this idea of New India, then we have come up with a vision for the business school. Interestingly, our vision got changed a bit. Initially, our mission had 3 pillars: global sensitivity, scholarly practice, and social entrepreneurial mindset. Global sensitivity, scholarly practice, and social entrepreneurial mindset. Today, we kept global sensitivity and social entrepreneurial mindset, but we have added the 2 other pillars: excellence seeking and true professionalism. Today, it has 4 components: global sensitivity, excellence seeking, true professionalism, and social entrepreneurial mindset. I want to quickly tell you what global sensitivity is. Understanding different countries and cultures, not just culture, also economics, politics, government, geography, history. So that understanding, that is global sensitivity. Excellence seeking is developing a temperament, that empathetic temperament of doing it better than before. True professionalism is whenever there is an opportunity, seek empirical evidence, seek unequivocal data, seek high quality data, make decisions based on that. That's true professionalism. Finally, social entrepreneurial mindset is not about making everybody social entrepreneurs. It is about developing this mindset of what is good for your company should be good for the community and the state and the country and the world at large. 4 pillars: global sensitivity, excellence seeking, true professionalism, and a social entrepreneurial mindset. And next 10 years, I think this mission of our school will remain more or less the same. But how do we achieve this mission? That is through Uberizing. That is through developing and making the enabling structure You see, when you think about a university, we think about students and teachers, but there is so much more to happen, as you asked: marketing and branding and admissions and placements and finance and accounting and fee collection and campus management. I want to make those enabling structures, it's excellent, because you rarely see anybody talking that much about these enabling structures. In addition to refining our curriculum, if we have specific questions how our curriculum is changing and transforming, I can tell you. But my goal is Uberizing and to make the enabling structure better. Of course, our mission would get refined a bit, but in these 8 years, 3 pillars have changed to 4 pillars and 1 pillar got replaced.
Right. So, sir,
not that much change. Yeah.
So, sir, basically the quality of education and are changing in India, coming up with new universities, with foreign tie-ups and all these kind of things. Now, the universities and colleges are very keen to involve the foreign students also as part of their admission system. But at the same time, we know that foreign countries and in India, the education system are very different. And this is where we want to know, like, how you are planning to ensure that and what kind of benefits that a foreign student can have from studying into your college.
Right. See, I am responsible for 3 schools in the university. Thapar Institute of Engineering and Technology, I am responsible for 3 schools: the Business School, the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences, and the School of Humanities and Social Sciences. The number 1 requirement for attracting foreign students is to make sure that the average quality of your faculty members are comparable to any top foreign university in the world. Out of these 3 schools, I want to be absolutely clear here. I would rank at this point our School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. The average quality of our faculty is comparable to any top university in the world. Our Business School, I can confidently tell you, average research quality of our faculty members are more or less comparable to other universities in the world. So faculty quality is the key. Faculty quality. Actually, curriculum per se is less of a worry. Foreign students come, they're not worried about whether you precisely teach these many aspects or this particular curriculum. They're less worried. They want to sit in front of brilliant scholars. They want to engage in those scholarly discussions. So well-trained, well-educated faculty, number 1. Then, of course, a reasonably good quality, clean campus, clean hostel facilities, acceptable food. Those are important. But 80% is recruiting top quality faculty, and it is the number 1 challenge of any good university in the country.
Right. So, sir, I think you have already covered my second question in your answer, but still I would like to ask you to help the students, because there are a lot of aspirants who are looking out to understand more about the university. So what would be a few points that you would like those students to know so that they will be able to make their decision, and also some key strengths of the Thapar University for the students to consider in their mind?
So 2-3 things. Number 1, excellent faculty. Excellent faculty. Very strong collaborations, in the sense that, say, 4 semesters of MBA, they can study 3 semesters with us and go and study 2 more semesters. They can get our MBA and another master's. Several universities, we have those kind of arrangements. So excellent faculty, excellent foreign collaboration, good placements, and we are a very good university. Times Higher Education, THE, ranked us as one of the best and among private university space, it ranked us #1 in the country. So part of a top university, excellent placements, good group of faculty members, and strong foreign collaborations.
Okay, so that is good to know. We'd like to also closing this session with your suggestion, because this is a bit a troublesome time for past almost 1.5 years with the COVID and a lot of uncertainty that which have brought into the education sector and also to the aspiring students. So we'd like to know what are your suggestions to the current youth and the aspiring students for their career, and to how to move forward in this difficult time to get the quality of education and to build a career for themselves in the long term.
I think this is not an easy time for anybody, whether it's youngsters, youth, older people. It's not an easy time. But before we start thinking about what others can do for us, I think the very first question all of us should ask is, what can I do for myself? See, this is not just a challenge of the youth. It is every generation and every age group has faced this challenge of, before we ask ourselves, how can I help myself? We ask this question, what can others do for me? I think that is my #1 call for action. Please ask yourself, what can you do for yourself? #1. #2, probably it's a good idea to look at the mirror. Look at MBA education. So see, last year our best student got 18 lakhs. Our average compensation is somewhere between 6 and 7 lakhs. But that doesn't mean that somebody who has somehow managed to get a BBA and got lucky in getting into our school may not get to that 18 lakhs. But someone with a few years of experience and naturally motivated, open-minded, great attitude, that person will easily get a high salary. So it's also important to look at the mirror and look at your preparation and your motivation and how best you have used your time, whether it's a 2-year MBA or a 4-year engineering. So that's another important point. That self-knowledge, understanding who you are. It doesn't matter. You might start with a 7 lakhs job, but you'll end up with a 70 lakhs job. But then the first job depends on who you are. And based on that, you make the best use of your time, whatever you study. But unfortunately, what happens is, sometimes it will all become placements. We kind of ignore the most important aspect, that is learning. My call for action is, if a learning done well, placement is a natural result of that. Let me make it very clear here. We have had no problem in bringing good companies to campus. But our biggest challenge is motivating our students to get ready to take up that opportunity. So that mismatch we need to manage.
Right, sir. So, sir, it was very nice session interacting with you, bringing your thoughts to the students out there, and I hope this will be really helpful for them. So, thank you, sir, thank you for giving us time for the students out there, and we are very happy to host you.
Thank you.